everybody? It's me, Trader Max, and we're here with the Shogun Forge. I know I have not yet done the intro for the Shogun Forge yet. Again, I'm just getting back. Back scratcher. I'm just getting back into streaming again and getting on board because lots of good stuff has been happening. But we're going to take a few minutes, just kind of chill out while we're getting started. We're going to get some people to kind of start coming in and getting on board. We should have a couple of guests here today. We're building at the speed of Max now. And this is something that's pretty powerful, but we're going to get into a few things here as we wait in for some people to come piling in. Welcome. If you're here and you're watching, please make sure that you share and like the stream wherever you're watching. You're watching on my profile, you're watching on Shogun Crypto. Please make a comment inside the room in there. You know, we'll answer them here in the system here. Sometimes X has a little bit of a problem. We're working on that. But yeah, it looks like only over on YouTube can we get comments here. For some reason, something's happening. If you want to come into the show, I'll be checking my DMs in on X as well to see if it's something that if you want to come on board, I'll send you the link for it. It'll be there up. Is if you message me there, I can bring you in to the system there. But we have a lot of stuff to cover and what's been going on. What's up, Fire Chicken, my man? Yes. Testing? Are you kidding me? Are you ready to see this stuff, man? Did you have a look at, I mean, you've probably seen the old, I'm going to put this up here because I'm tired of looking over to I have so many screens up. It's not even funny. It's not like a Bloomberg device or anything, but it's been pretty powerful. I would love to see you in the show, man. If you're up for it, Fire Chicken, and you know, I see you over on YouTube and there. I do appreciate it very much. Thank you so much for being over on YouTube. But boy, we have come back with a vengeance. And I'm saying this not as some sort of hype or clickbait, but it is sometimes you got to take shit in your own hands to make it right. And, you know, God willing, he's going to lead me in the right direction. Right. Got patients lined up for the afternoon. The things to play on devices. The things play. Yep. You got it, buddy. So here's what we're going to do. Especially for you, Fire Chicken, you know, if you're still in that game with coins and getting everything on, I got some stuff for you, man, because you've always been a constant professional with us. We really do appreciate it. So some free advertising stuff, a lot of good stuff going out there as we're building in right now. Most of you know, some of you know, I should say, that the old Shogun Gun Show was something that thank you very much. That is very sweet of you. He is I'm interested in anything that you're putting out. You rock. I really do appreciate you so much. All the work that you have done in your community and the right and honor that you provide for me to be stable with. I do appreciate that. Very endearing statement there. It says a lot when you're collabs and the people that you've dealt with respect you and you respect them. It goes a long way, especially when the days are dark, when the time is when it's late in the morning, and you know what I'm talking about, working at 4 o'clock in the morning, and you go, is this worth it? And then you see people like Fire Chicken or you see people like Ghost struggling and pushing with you along the way. So you got to hold on to yourself a little, right? And I'm not meaning that in a weird, perverted 4 o'clock in the morning and I got nothing else to do way. I'm talking, you got to hold on to your sanity by entrusting those that are around you. And it's so hard in crypto. It really is. It is so hard in crypto to trust the people that are around you. And Ghost and I and others, Motown, Egon, over from Just a Lotto, Fam Bam, you know, they know what it's like to have people that you have right here and you're working and you're struggling and you're punching and you're kicking every day. And one little tiny thing pops out and it all falls apart. And that weakness, if you will, doesn't come from a malicious thing. It comes from fear, fear of success, fear of failure, fear of loathing. I don't know. It's just, it really does come from fear. And sometimes you need to sit on the end of your bed and have a real conversation with nobody else in the room but yourself and say, am I okay? Am I a good person? Do I trust the things that I'm doing? You got to have real conversations. Real conversations are not easy. Real conversations are, if you feel somebody's upset with you, you say, hey, are you upset with me? You don't combat, you don't gaslight, you have real, sincere conversation. And that's tough. That's tough for adults. That's tough for men. It's tough for women. It's tough for children. It's tough. But things that are tough that you get through, as they say, what doesn't kill you makes you strong. I always hated that one, by the way. But yeah, what is tough that gets accomplished strengthens you. It should not deplete you. And I know some of you are extroverts and introverts, but you're still active. What is the cause and effect of that is resounding. I'm an extrovert and I thrive off of all the people. I thrive with dealing with solutions. I thrive in building, but then when you take that control out of my hands and something else attacks me, I break apart. Because I'm like, I can't control it. What am I doing? I'm not a control freak either. I'm really not. I want people to take things and just build it. There you go. I built you a giant thing that can rule the world and you go run it. I built it. Just pat me on the back and give me my money and make me happy. And sometimes that's good. Sometimes that's bad. Sometimes that turns into a $4 million radio network. Sometimes that turns into a $2 million marketing and ad advertising. Sometimes that turns into another $2 million trading network. And sometimes that turns into a hot dog cart that failed miserably, right? So it's not something that works every single time, but man, do I put it in. I got this many years in doing this stuff. And I love, and I got to tell you, I love getting to a goal. Now I have this statement. I think I said this in the last show on Monday. It's something I refer to as a threshold goal. And a threshold goal is not just an ordinary goal. A threshold goal is that spot that you get to, that that all the struggle, all the points of entry, all the happy accidents, all the hacks and all the scammers that are trying to attack you every day, all that just disappears, not from full sight, but from enough to where it doesn't prohibit you from doing anything anymore. And you say, I got this. This is really here. If I knew that if I got to this point, I could do it. And that for me was about a week ago in all of this. That's right. We've been, thank you very much for the legend over there for the Shogun Forge show. That for me came about a week ago. I know, right? After a year being in this business, a year and 3 months now for me personally being in the business, but the coin's been around for about a year and a month now. I'm finally getting to that point of that threshold goal where I'm like, holy fuck. I think I found it. It's not some sort of, ooh, I found it. Look how tiny it is. It's like, this is bigger than anything I've ever built before. And why do I say that? Well, in the world of crypto, it's difficult to get trust, and it's difficult to protect, and it's difficult to show promise of solution that is real, right? Most people fake that shit. They tell you it's all good, and the next thing you know, they're siphoning your wallet. So for me, I gotta dive back a little bit, right? The history of the process here. And I won't say this is like the state of Shogun, but it kind of is, right? So let's kind of jump right into that then, right? Let's get into the state of Shogun. So, one of the things that I've kind of came up with here is, and when we were building out this show segment of State of Shogun, right? This is a Shogun Forge. I'm glad to have you all here. If you're watching, this is the first time you're watching, please say something in the comments. Not that I need validation, but I just love seeing people that are in there and they're getting to know on a few things, which is good. So, but it also shows that, you guys are here, you're listening. And I know some of you just pop it in and say, hey, Max, I got you covered. And then you got to go do your thing. And it gives us a view. And I really do appreciate that. But I want you to hear this today as well, because I don't want this to be some long drawn out story of Max's learning how to walk. Right. But a year ago, when we started this process, I was again, in any project I've ever done, I've always been very positive. Like, hey, listen, if we build this, it should happen this, and then this will happen. We all win. We all win money, right? We all happen to build, and we structure, and we live. We're a success. Yay. If this happens to go parabolic, here's what we're going to do. I had that excitement. And then I say, okay, so if this happens at this time, then we should get this. But if that doesn't happen, right? Remember, a lot of people hear, oh, if I said, in November of last year or September last year, hey, listen, this is going great. We keep going on this. We're going to hit 10 million by November, right? If this keeps happening, we're going to hit 10 million by November. November comes, we didn't hit 10 million. We were still at just a little bit, below 4, I think it was. And somebody said, we didn't hit 10 million like you said. Well, these 7 things didn't happen. We didn't get our trading bot out. We went into a white label system. Now, a white label system is, if some of you know or don't know, is a system where another company builds it and they put your name on it and they loan it to you. So we had a white label trading system. I didn't have any fear of that or worry about that. I wasn't cheating. I wasn't smart enough at the time to build my own trading network solution. I am now. Holy fuck, I am now. But I should go back and do that, right? That'd be awesome. But I don't have time. But what we've built is pretty powerful. But back then we built a white label. And now listen, some of you got white labels. Good on you. You got it, right? If you got the trust, you got the value, you got the whole thing, and it works for you. Great. But who we used, I had a little skepticism with, there's just something wrong. So I didn't tack them, but I came after him and I asked them questions. Remember, I said you got to ask tough questions, and you better ask tough questions, especially when it comes to your money. We put $4,000 into it. And so when we put this money into it, and I asked him a question, hey, look, there's money missing from this wallet. It got moved to another position. What happened? Why did that happen? And he goes, oh, well, we made a mistake and we moved money from one wallet to another. I said, well, wait a minute. You have access to the wallets? And they said, yep. I said, well, and I pulled the team together and I said, no, that's no bueno. This isn't good. They got access to the wallets. Let's run for the hills. What the fuck did we do? I had to learn what to ask in the beginning. So I learned. We then built and then built and then built. And we found another company and another company. And then I said, stuff all this companies with white labels. Let's go after the real thing. Let's go after programmers. Yeah. And what happened? Well, we went after a programmer and got one little gentleman. And he came in and he was great. I tell you, he's responsive and punctual and seemed honest, and I never got a chance to really physically talk to him, but once in the very beginning, and a very bad accent, from China. And I said the words, but I'm not a racist. I'm not a bigot, but he was from China, and no offense to anybody who's Chinese out there, God forbid. Oh my God. But listen, great guy. Him and I worked together for 7 months, 6-7 months. Yeah. 6-7 months. And it was always, when we started to build the Anvil bot, we started with hey, can we build a trading bot? And it was like, yes. Sorry, I'm going to answer Ghost here in the back. Yeah, perfect. That's good. Good. So we made this relationship with him, and and this is where the programmer, so Max plus white label, great idea, tough white label. Max plus programmer, great, has an understanding, knows the strategy, knows what it wants to look like, but could never really get it to the next level because they didn't have the same mind I did when it comes to trading. We hammered out a beautiful little Anvil bot. Most of you have seen this Anvil bot system that we have. I'm going to try to pull this up here. Let me do that here on this screen. I'm so sorry. Blah, 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 blah. Anvil bot. Okay. Right. Oop. Hey, Ghost, how you doing in there? Let's see, Shogun Anvil. Oh, no, there it is. Okay, there it is. Oh, there it was. There it is. Okay. And the Anvilbot it still is. It's still there. It's just there. And it works only on one thing, radium, So when I met King, this is not what it looked like either. There was a lot of problems. There was a lot of failures. It wasn't kicking up the trades. The ratio system was horrible. It just wasn't working. I got very frustrated. I got out. I was like, I was telling him, listen, you got to help me. We joined another program. We were going to build what we call the Shogun X. We built that. We built a launch pad. We built all these things. I got another programmer. Then that program got another programmer. And there was 4 of us, and we're all in there working, and we're building stuff. And it was always delayed. It was always failure. It was always excuses. 12 to 16 weeks. I got to write a book called 12 to 16 weeks, and I'll write it in 12 to 16 weeks. And at the end, it'll just say 12 to 16 weeks for the next page. That's what it's like, right? It'll take 27 years to build. But as we started to build this out, it started to show premise. Now, one thing did work out, which thank God, was the strategy, was the ratio trading strategy. And that's what worked out. And it worked out so well. And the reason why it worked out was because I have 20 plus years worth of trading experience, and I know what it is to build an asset. And building assets and building bags of things in crypto is a little bit sort of the same, right? So you buy, you do 3 buys, and then you do 2 sells, and it deflects the market. And when you sell off, you make from the hires because there's other organic stuff, and then you buy more, but you're building your bag at a certain percentage. And if you know those percentages, you know how to work the market, and you got good with numbers, you can make good money with this thing, right? You can protect your bag, you can build up your coin, you can make it show worthy. And that's what the Anvilbot did. If you're a coin owner, or even if you just want to get in and out of a coin, Anvilbot was the way to go. It worked on Pump Fund. It worked on Radium. And that was it. Didn't have to work on anything else because we all had to come. Coming soon was always on the page. Metaora, tax tokens, all that stuff. It's on its way. We're going to get it. We're going to get it. And I talked to the team, and what would they say? 12 to 16 weeks. 12 to 16 weeks. That's fucking 3 to 4 months. Thank you very much. And you know what, guys? I call bullshit. Bullshit. Because it was just getting frustrating to me. I just couldn't do it anymore. I couldn't do 12 to 16 weeks anymore. I had to take things in my own hands. And what does that mean? That means that it's going to lead me into the next thing here. They have that saying, right? If you want it done right, do it yourself. That's not always true, because I do some stuff pretty poorly. And one of them is my grammar. I'm terrible with grammar and all that stuff. And everybody knows it, right? I don't have anything to hide behind it. But in the financing side, tracking finance and keeping the books, I'm terrible. I'm not supposed to be Christ hanging on the cross here, right? I know where my faults are. And that's why we should have a team in there doing a lot of this stuff. But for me, one thing I am very, very good at is deciphering how to figure things out and how to build things. I'm a structurist. I'm a strategist. I build like nobody's business once I start figuring stuff out and where it's at. Now, the only reason that I did not jump in to be a programmer myself is that I already was a programmer, but just not in the things that I needed to be here. I'm a great UIist, user experience or user interface person. I know Node.js, JavaScript. I know a lot. I used to know a lot of stuff back in the day, especially with JavaScript, PHP, HTML, all that stuff. Building website, I figured, how hard can it be? And it was difficult. But I helped build out the process of Shogun Fusion because I knew how to build stuff. So when we got the team to build Shogun Fusion, they said the same thing, 12 to 16 weeks. And I was like, what the fuck is with this 12 to 16 weeks thing? I think they just chat GBT'd it. I really don't know, right? But we did. We built a really nice Shogun website with a great, system in. The look of it is awesome, but sometimes the functionality is a pain in my ass. Why? Because sometimes it does work and sometimes it doesn't. If I try to go to my profile, we have issues, right? Still functional. 16 weeks worth. Wow, 16 weeks, 16, 17 weeks of operation, and there hasn't been any major critical failures, a few small ones here, but we always seem to get them fixed because I had to pay for them. This was built by Hugo Byte and his team over there, and they were doing great until, I don't expect anybody to work for free forever, but they had to get things done that they fucked up, and they never got it. And there's certain things that are still there that we're still fighting. And I said, no, I can't do this anymore. The same person that was making this was helping me build out the Anvil bot second phase, right? And the second phase was getting it out of King's hand and getting into his. And so we had to build it. So we finally built out this 2.5 because we had a huge issue. We had a security breach. We had a lot of other stuff in the first thing. I really do think that it was a couple of people involved that were internal. And when I found out, everybody split. They kicked out like cockroaches. Scott stuck around and he helped me build out. I knew he was true. I still know he's true. He seems like a great guy, but he just had to move on. He wanted to go do other things. And I got it. I got it because he couldn't figure it out. The 12 to 16 weeks turned into 24 and 32 weeks, just a multiple of the same. And I said, no, I can't do it anymore. So we're going to move on. We're going to move on. What did we move on to? Well, I didn't know. I made relations with a good friend of ours over in Just a Lotto with Ghost from the show. And I said, listen, I'm going to go to school. I got to stop, right? I got to stop the bleeding. We were getting attacked every day in Shogun, our Telegram account. So I just said, you know what? It's time to stop. Time to kind of reassess. And this is what leads me into the next thing for you guys. And I'm not here as the guru that knows everything, but I am somebody that maybe you can learn from what not to do. And don't keep pounding your head against the wall with things. Most people, even some of my top 5 that were with me in the very beginning, were even saying, I don't even know why you're still doing it, man. If you got to go, you got to go, go do your school. I own a martial arts academy in Morrisville, PA, which is struggling because I'm away all the time building all these things and not making any money. And so I just said, you know what? I contacted an old professional buddy of mine, and he works at Princeton, New Jersey, Princeton University. And I said to him, man, I'm banging my head against the wall. I said, I can't seem to find a good programmer that I can trust. And he goes, Max, you trust yourself? And I told him, yeah, I do. I trust myself to work. He goes, then why don't you learn? I was like, man, that'll take like 12 to 16 weeks. No, just kidding. I didn't say that, but it was true. It would take time. I'd have to go learn, and then where? And then, do I need a certification? Do I need what? And he goes, no, find the things that you want done. If it's W3 stuff, figure it out. Put yourself together some systems and use AI and use all every tool you got to your thing. He says, don't completely rely on AI. Learn where everything is at. Learn about databases. Learn about MySQL. I knew a lot already about it. Just didn't know how to apply it all. And then I met people over at Vercel and Railway and Turnkey, which is the wallet system. And I just started making contacts and learning and going into Udemy. Our friends over at Udemy, kicking ass, taking names. I must have spent maybe $200 in university fees and stuff, and just started to listen and practice and build. I built a website for the Just a Lotto fam bam over there using the same principles that I'm using now with Node.js and a few other things. And I started to build out the structure of how I wanted things to be. And my threshold moment came about a week ago when I was building out the Anvil bot, and I got to a point where I could download a program to my computer and trade on the market of crypto. That's right. In my home computer, not phantom wallet swaps, not a swap system you put on a website, not a TG bot, a simple bot that download to your home computer and trade. I then did a security analysis on it by taking some friends of mine that have some background in this. I said, how can this fail? If I've downloaded a system to my computer, how can it fail? And they said there's a couple of ways that it could fail. It could fail by them attaching themselves to your wallet. If they know the wallet address, they may be able to follow it and try to track things. But, they would have to brute force attack your computer. And that'd be hard because they don't have your IP. And if they don't have your IP, if nobody knows your IP, if you're not storing the IP, you're not doing anything else. I said, well, we have a licensing system. He goes, that would be the most secure thing, is to do it in a certain way that nobody knows the customer's IP. And so we did. We built out a system where we protected the IP as the golden nugget, dug it 42 feet into the ground kind of thing. And we started just to build a system where the only way that somebody could hack it is by you giving it to them or letting them in your house or fighting them, or they break into your house and they get your password to your computer as well as to your wallet on the system. Now, why is that so important and why it's never really been done before? There are downloadable systems that have wallet systems out there. So don't get me wrong. But this is the first time that you're going to be in control of them. And that's what we did with Anvil. The reason why we did this is because I got tired of worried about security protocols with TG. I got tired of thinking about DApps. Now, this is still just the first phase of me learning. So second phase of me learning is security protocol is all about DApp structure. Now, there's some pretty badass people out there that are a lot better at it than me. So, but it doesn't mean I'm going to go out and use them all just yet. But I'm going to find out what I need, and I'm going to take it to that level. So enough of the fucking history, Max. Let's get into what this thing is doing and why it is so powerful. And I'm going to show you right now just the back office of the bot that we've created and why we've created it. Remembering that this is what it looked like. Okay. This is what it looked like. If you wanted to do a boost on a token, it was all script. A couple little green buttons and a little background, very easy to access, ease of use, go in, learn how to do it, learn the different things, click the Shogun, go in, trade a swap, and do that. This stuff still works. It just works on Radium, but if you put 20 people in it, it's going to fail. It's going to fall all over the place just because it's not containerized properly and it doesn't work right? So that's where we're at. That's where we were. Okay, but now let me go find it. And I'm gonna drag it right over to here. Now, I'm not gonna go log in and do all that kind of stuff for you, but I want you to see this. Now, all wallet information is protected in here because you can't even see it. If I go down to a wallet, you won't even be able to see the full address in there. So it's all protected. We did this for a reason, okay? But the strategy system, there's a few things in here that's pretty powerful. And the first one is the ease of use of this. Being able to start this on your computer. You can run it on a laptop. You don't need a powerful computer. You don't need some sort of Megatron or Bloomberg device to run this thing. Very, very simple. You just need the contact address and a few things, on board. And it's super simple, right? And so we made this about quality of life because we wanted to make it easy for you to be able to, if you are to just download, activate, strategize, and trade, and then leave it on. Now, does it have nuances? Absolutely. One of the biggest nuances that, and somebody who's already said, even one person, there's only about 3 or 4 people in this thing right now, and even one person's like, when are you going to turn it into a DApp? So that way I can make it easier and I could trade at home and on my phone at night when I'm watching video games. It's like, probably never. If this thing works this way and this well and it's this protected, why would you want to? Screw your ease of use. Buy a laptop that you put on, turn it off once a day, recycle it, and then turn it back on. The 5 seconds it's down, do it in the middle of the strategy, be done, and you're back up, and you got one hell of a protected process that builds volume and builds strategy and sometimes makes money in the interim. Why would you want anything else? So let's get down to a breakdown of what this thing is and what it's done and how it's working so far so you could see it. Maybe some of you that are watching right now would want to jump over and start using this thing. We are in MVP beta. And I know that's redundant, right? Why is it MVP beta? Well, because I like beta testing, but this is really an active production model already. I've already done all the security audits on the system and on the network already. Yes, by myself, I've done that side of it, but I had one other person come in and he checked and he gave me some really good, this guy's scary, by the way, because he knows where all the bad points are. And because he knows where all the bad points are, I never want to piss that person off, so I got a lot of good information from him, and he's a trusted source. I worked with him in the State Department, very nice guy. But still, he's like, man, I wouldn't even do anything with W3. Why even over there? He goes, the best thing not to do in W3 is not do W3. I'm like, yeah, I got you. But here's where I'm at. And so he understood, but let's just jump straight down. Version control, super big thing with me now. Since I've been trained and I've been working, I've really cleaned up my act when it comes to building stuff. So now I don't have all these projects everywhere. I always got to switch around. But we're going to go down to token manager. And why is this thing so powerful? Well, it's simply because it'll store the address of the token that I want on board at all times. And I've tested them all. I've tested Pump Fund. I've tested now. The only thing it won't work on, and this is not a problem because I only want really bonded tokens. So the token has to be bonded. But I've met a few people that are like, man, if I had this, I would do. Okay, great. But I'm not going to put it into the Anvil solo because that's not what this is. This isn't about Pump Fund and pumping up, pre-bonded rug coins. So to fake people out. But for people that are actually legitimately making coins and doing stuff, I'm going to make a booster system, but not in here. They're not going to be able to use this system, but they will be able to have their own other system that is a boost, but that's neither here nor there. I don't want to really talk about anything that's in 2 weeks. That might be in 2 weeks. That might not be. I don't know. It depends on if I have an extra free 8 minutes, right? So token manager, super simple. Now it's still in the MVP. We did not release all of the RPC stuff, right? These are the guts behind the system. This is the credits that it takes to run all the information that you get from Jupyter and Deck Screener and Bird's Eye and all that stuff. We didn't run it at full gambit that way, and it's still super fast. Trust me. I right now have a paid account at a few places that are very powerful. This thing is super fast, unlike the old one where you press the button and you had to wait a couple of minutes, usually 5 to 10 minutes, depending on how long. And if it didn't fire, you had to go back and look at errors and all that other stuff. And you wrote me, and it was terrible. It was so bad. But it was still, even then, that piece was still halfway decent. The strategy was awesome. Okay, so you come in, you put the contract address in, you handwrite what each one is, and it's just tracking it, right? We're going to jump down to the first one, which is the DCA system. The DCA system, dollar cost average, is powerful for you traders, right? But it's also good for you guys that are trying to boost your coin and work your coin. And I'm going to show you why in a moment, why this is good, okay? Because the DCA, dollar cost average in, is a process to where you can slowly inject capita or remove capita from the market cap. And you do so in a safe environment to affect only one thing, the channel of price. Okay. And I'm going to show this in a future example when I'm talking about cross hatching, where I'm going to take a DCA strategy, apply it with a ratio trading, and maybe boost and run it with a bundle system. Okay. Now, this is not like the bad type of bundling where it's like you put a whole bunch of stuff in and you pull them all out from different wallets. So it looks like all these people left you and it rugs it, all that. Could it be used for bad? Absolutely. Any of this stuff could be. But for my part, it's here. It's right now. All right. So here's the thing. We have inside the DCA system, simple enough. If you've put your wallet to, or you put your address to it, boom, there you go. You can just straight add it to it, and then it's into the spectrum of it. The wallet system. Now, the wallet system is pretty powerful, and we'll discuss that here in a moment. But simply, you just choose your main wallet, or you may have a new wallet that you put in. You can name them. There's a lot of good stuff in here that you can have ease of use, quality of life stuff. Brilliant, right? I love this part of the process. But, and I'm not tooting my own horn, but yeah, we built a pretty good system. But it's all because of all the feedback from people like Fire Chicken that was here earlier, and others that used the bots and used the systems and gave me feedback instead of, oh, hey, if you only had this, if you did this, if you did this. And I took all that feedback and I put it with all my experience of UI and made what we have, right? So the DCA, powerful, super simple. You can set how many transactions you want it to happen over a period of time. You can choose a custom interval of at the minimum of 1 minute, the maximum 1 year. I mean, I don't know. It's completely up to you at that point, right? Slippage, important that if your coin has a lot of activity, that you set slippage a little bit higher or what have you. Priority fees, if you got bigger trades happening and it's like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars and you don't want it to be MEV'd or over, then you would choose a little bit higher priority because you want your shit to go through, right? And you create the strategy. The dashboard has the strategy and it comes over. You'll double click it and it'll go into almost an immediate system. It'll just about immediate. I'm telling you, like microseconds into the trade. And I'll do a live trade. I'll do a live system here so you can see it. Okay. Let's jump down to ratio trading. Ratio trading is that thing that the other Anvil bot was very famous for. It was built into trading on the volume and creating a movement, building the bag, a 3-to-2. If you think about this, 3 buys. So now, if each buy, let's just say I set this to where it's 0.1, and that gives me 1,000 tokens. Just for an example, 1,000 tokens, right? I'm buying Shogun, and 0.1 buy gives me 1,000 tokens, or 50,000 tokens, or 500,000. It doesn't matter what it is, But let's just say 1,000 tokens. If it buys 3 times, simple math, 3 times 1,000 is 3,000, and then it does 2 sells, which it sells off of some of that, right? So that's each 1,000. So whatever we set the primary for is what is through the entire set. We refer to this as a set. And when this happens, that's 5 trades. But 3,000 build the bag, then 2,000 gets sold off, leaving a dividend of 1,000. Now, if this was set 2-to-1, this would be 2,000 minus the 1, that'd be 1,000. So the 3-to-2 builds your bag up by 33% for every set, and builds out on a 2-to-1 at 50%. My bag will increase 50% by each new set. You could have it just like that if you want, and you have these buys and sells happening because it creates fluctuation to the market and movement. But there'll be other things that we'll talk about here in a second called relevance to the site and to your coin. So that's also important. As far as the bundle trading goes, it's sort of the same thing, except for in the ratio trading side of it, we have another feature. You can do this. You could do a 2-to-1, but you could also do it in the inverse, 1-to-3, right? And you can kind of do this at a point where you could say, if when we start, I buy 1 because it creates value, and then I sell 3 off. But sometimes, if you don't have enough coin in your wallet or enough of the token, it'll fail. Of course, it would. Anybody would, right? So you would have to put enough in to cover the 3 sells. That's how it works. But this would slowly sell your bag off and increasing your soul value that's in the bag. Okay. Same thing, slippage, priority fee, all that kind of good stuff. But then we jump down to the round trip mode. And what does this mean? Well, this means that let's just say I set this to a 3-to-2. Okay. And I start off and I do I set the round trip to 3. That means there'll be 3 sets of 3-to-2s that'll happen over a period of time. How long? Well, that really depends on how much you set your interval price or interval time between, right? If I set it to a minute, that means 3 sells or 3 buys, 3 minutes, and 2 sells, each at a minute interval. So 2 minutes, so that's 5 minutes. Each set takes 5 minutes, set at 1 minute, right? I do it at 2 minutes, then each set would take 10, 15, 20, 25, and so on. But what happens when it happens 3 times? What does this do? Well, just like I said that you could set it in the inverse, this automatically puts it in the inverse and says, now I'm going to do 3 sets of 2 buys to 3 sells. That's it. And what will that do to the chart? Well, that'll create something called a channel. And that channel operates, if it just left alone and there was no other trades in the process, to be able to come in. Hang on 1 second. But that's where we're at, basically. Okay. When it comes to creating a channel on the site, there is a value of movement that you want your coin to be at. And I'm going to show you what that looks like over on the website there here in a moment. But before I do, I got to bring up whenever he's ready, he can jump up here when he's ready. We may have a special guest here who knows a lot about the Anvil bot, because this dude's been part of the team for so long, it's not even funny. But whenever he's ready, he can pop up here. The concept of the network of movement of the ratio and the channel is all depends on your set. Now, if I set this to every 2 times the direction, you can't really see that here. Let me see if I can move this out of the way so you can see. Yeah, see, it's right there. If I set it to 2, that means that my channel is going to be smaller. If I set it to 5, that means my channel is going to be bigger. Now, as your channel is working, right, you're going to have organic trades that are going to be coming in, and this will move your channel up and down and vibrate over a period of time. But there's other ways that you can inject into the market cap to affect that channel as well. One of them is DCA. You could DCA in and push it in to a point where it's going that one way and you're putting money into it and it'll increase the value on the channel, or you can DCA out and remove it so it drops down to meet certain levels, because buy levels are very important. Buy levels are very important because the lower the level, the more injection there could be at certain levels. Right now, I know this is a lot of stuff, and most of you are like, okay, you had me at volume bot. Why is all this other stuff? Well, because there's some of you out there that want to know more, and I got to get better at explaining it. So you guys are my cannon fodder. I'm gonna be talking to you about this. Okay. So we know DCA, we know ratio trading, we know I'm over on the wrong side here. We know but we didn't talk about bundle yet. Now, what is the bundle system? The bundle system is super powerful as well because it has the same values as ratio and DCA with the how to start one. But what is a bundle? Well, Fatality Bot, Orbit, Bonk, all these bots out there that did a certain particular thing called a bundle volume, which was simple. You take two buys, you randomize them, and they between a certain amount. So let's say one buys $1, the other's $2. And then you create a sell that reconciles those two buys. So if I sell for one for $1 or buy one for $1 and the other for $2, that's a total of $3. It does a sell for $3. But it does it all at once. And it Jitos them up. It puts them into a bundle inside Radium or whatever system that you're using. Jito is probably the biggest one. And they just compound it all in just one big quick sell. Right. So it looks like buy, sell. That's it. Buy, sell, buy, sell. And it's happening so fast, sometimes in microseconds. You got good computers, you got good networks. But what it does is nothing for the market cap. Doesn't move the chart at all. In fact, it stays exactly still. And you can see a coin that has a 20,000 market cap and it has $5,000 worth of volume and there's no fucking movement. And that became sus for a lot of people. Some people liked it because it triggered other bots and other systems out there back in the day to come and look at why is this bot has so much volume. It didn't care that the market cap was only 20,000 or 30,000 or 100,000. It just knew that it had a lot of volume. Volume equals customers. Well, not anymore. He found a way to trick it. And I thought, you know what? I'm not going to be the same person. I'm not going to do the same thing they do. So when we were first making the Anvil bot, I said, I don't want to make fake accounts and fake bot volume and all that stuff. But why is it important here to have this option in here? Well, sometimes the boost in volume along with the strategy of DCA or ratio is super powerful. It helps boost the volume and create market value to the chart because it enhances it. So as you have market cap movement, you have the bundle happening as well. Plus, you get to affect some of the organic look to a lot of the trades that are happening because all three trades happen on the site at once when you have it on an instant, all trades at once, right? They all happen at once. And so it saves on fees, it saves on time, but it also gives you more volume. But there's something else that we can do in reconciliation. We can have it to where it still will affect the volume of the bot or the market cap as well as move the market cap. But it is also referred to as reconciliation. What does that mean? Well, if I have 3 buys in this system, it's going to do 2 buys and then 1 sell. If I put this to 4, the same thing. The sell is always going to be the reconciliation of however many trades it is. Okay. So if there's 4 buys on the 5th, it'll have the final one, which will reconcile the entire thing. The more numbers, the more buys, the more amount. You can have this also be a different trade value on each one. It'd be randomized. So if I set from 0.05 to 0.15, that means that it'll happen from 30 cents to $20, right? Somewhere in there, $5.08, $15.20, and then have a sell for $32, whatever it is. Okay. You can set how many times you want it to run. You can set the delay in between. This thing can run all day long. Super powerful. Oh, that's cool. I'm glad, Fire Chicken. I really do appreciate your comment and being in there with us today. So the bundle trading has the 2 variables, instant trades and delayed trades. I like the delayed trades because I love market cap volume. Market cap volume is probably the most powerful one out there because it shows activity. It shows that you care. And I don't care about all the old bullshit that you would hear from people going, hey, it's a bot. It's botted. Well, fuck yeah, it's botted. You know why? Because I'm protecting the health. And I'm going to show you why here in a second. In fact, fuck that. Let's do it now. Let's jump into had it. Oh, that's my whiteboard. Let's just pop up Deck Screener. And we're going to jump down to my Shogun Crypto. Bank. Oop. I got to. Boy, I love it. I love it when I'm moving. It's look great. Okay. So, yes, I know market cap movement. I have it on the day. Let's jump back to 15 minutes. Let's get back to some of these things that you'll see here. Now, this was, I don't know, somebody sold out. They were done. They say goodbye. Who cares what this is? This was a big drop. This was the black day of crypto in the beginning of October, if you remember, big giant fall over a period of time. But the 17th is when we started the bot. What is that? 5 days ago, right? Remember what I told you, 5 days. Now, I want you to see this chart. And again, we're not getting a lot of organic, and I'm doing pennies on the dollar, right? Started out very low, as you can kind of see, 38 cents, 38 cents, 38 cents, 95, somewhere in that area. This is only in a day, right? But the reason why this is so powerful is I want you to see the value here. We've had some huge spikes in crypto, in Solana over the last couple of weeks. So this is why this is important. The first thing why having volume in a bot, exactly. He says, and I like this comment, human eye is trained to focus on movement, and nice flowing chart has a natural draw. Absolutely, because movement isn't just stagnant line all the way across. And this is a good point, Fire Chicken. Thank you so much. But I want you to see this value when we first started, right? We started out a strategy, and I'm just going to pop a line on here. Sorry, it's been a while since I've done a chart analysis on my own chart. We're going to do that and pop, and we're going to pull this in. And I'm not even talking about movements or anything else, because this is all still, relative to the bot doing its job, right? This isn't human element yet. I've removed all that. Okay. But this is the channel we're talking to. And this is the natural channel right here. This was not organic. This was sales in there, right? But this is the natural channel of that first 2 days of running the bot, right? And it was sparse. Like there was times I stopped, there's times I moved, times I didn't let it sit overnight, right? And then you can kind of see, let me see if I can pop this in, pop. And we're going to do this. And then we gravitate to a higher channel. But why? Well, because during this day we had price injection. But look what it did. Found another channel. Had a little drop, some more price injection, another drop, more price injection. But the channel sort of stays the same. Why? Because I'm using the same values between the two. It's been running for 8 days. Okay. I started with $36 in it. And we're going to jump over. We're going to see what it is right now. Okay. But here, big channel, long channel day, right? 20th to the 21st, a full day's worth of channel. Look at that. Yesterday, what happened to Solana? Started to run. Drop back down again. Slowly, not big drop this time. Why? Because the algorithms start picking up the process of movement here. I changed out the strategy a little bit. I added some bigger, longer times. I've added a 1 minute. And I added a 5 minute or 4 minute or 3 minute, whatever, 5 minute. Okay. And as the market started to collapse, it started to tether in buys and keep it from just looking like a giant drop, like a giant rope. Like here, it was down. The other day, I went to go turn it on and slept through the night, and it was off. So turn it back on in the morning. And what happened? And this is what I'm referring to as relevance, right? Because I didn't have an action happening, Solana dropped pretty heavily during this time period. And it looks like it's all in 15 minutes, but no, look at that. That's from 12:45 on the 22nd to 17:30. That's 5 o'clock. There was a whole day that it didn't drop until I made the trade. And once I made the trade, it showed it on the chart and boom, there it is. Right? This is why relevance is good. This would have actually looked like it would have went down over those time when the market was falling, keeping relevance to the thing, to the market. It's also relevance to Deck Screener because it's important to run your bots while Deck Screener because then you're relevant here. That's the real power of this bot is keeping relevance, especially to use small cap coins. If you want to create relevance, and this is why relevance is important as well, because right here, look at this. This is where the neutrality of, let me see, what is, it's sitting 191 for Solana right now. Okay. And the neutrality of it is like Solana is going up, but so is the value of the coin. Now let's drive back just a little bit and you can kind of see. I'm going to go to a 4-hour so you can really see it. What does that chart look like now? Here's back to the 17th. Oh, sorry. Let me come back over here. It's not super powerful as far as like there's the 14th. There's that big drop for that time. But it gives you a value of movement. It's not these big, giant, huge fluctuation, and it has organic look to it on a 4-hour. Okay, if I jump back to that 15-minute period, you'll see that since the 22nd at 5 o'clock, after we got back in, I haven't turned it off since, it's just been slowly rising. But look at that. That's a really nice looking chart. And it was down to 49,000 to 5,000. That's a 3,000 change in market cap using pennies. Now, remember, I did not inject anything into the wallet except for the $36 when I started on the 17th. On the 17th. Let's see what the wallet. Well, it has 2 wallets to it. Okay. So I did $36 on this HGXC one right here, this one. I did $36 to it, right? And what is it at right now? $45. Now, that doesn't mean you're going to go out and you're going to put this bot on and you're going to make $5 over 10 days, right? But also you have to think about I'm paying fees as well, not just Solana fees, but my own fees. I don't cut my fees out. Oh, God, I don't got that much power. I mean, even though I know the boss, I'm still not an idiot. I do this because in proof of concept, they have a statement, right? Some of you have heard this. The proof is in the pudding, is in the eating. Does that make sense to you? This is an English statement, right? The proof of the pudding is in the eating. That it's pudding, but you don't know it's pudding until you eat it. And how could I trade and do a bot system and show you how well it works if I remove the fees that anybody is going to use in there? Because it has to be fee oriented as well, because we need to make money. I'm not going to kid you here. Right? There are things that we're doing to generate more money into the process because there's more resources in the higher project stuff that I'm going to show you. But that's what this does. So this has generated a nice, healthy 45-degree angle in a neutral movement over a period of a full day by applying the volume control that we have here. Now, I get an influx of movement. I get an influx of time. I got money I can put in. I can put in those bots, and I can run it. And that's only with 2 strategies. I could cross-hatch this thing greatly, which I'll explain to you in a moment. So at this time, this is a lot of blah, 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 oh, what can it do for me kind of mentality. One of the things that the bot will do for you is create a relevance to the market. That's the biggest thing. Like you lower cap coins out there, if you're watching this after the fact, or you're watching this right now, this will work for you because, one, it's a low barrier of entry. There's a free system on there, and we're creating it now. I'm going to show you the website here. Okay. There's a free system we call the Rodin. Right now, I just made this morning, not the website, but I just redid the things here this morning, and they will be coming out live. If you want to help us beta test, these are irrelevant, by the way. If you're coming in helping us beta test, but you got to meet with us, you got to be in a room, we got to know all this stuff, blah blah blah, right? But you get on the free one, and anybody can use this because it has fees that you pay, right? You get 1 DCA strategy, 1 ratio strategy, because you really don't need bundle at that point if you just want the free system, and 1 generated wallet and 1 active strategy at any one time. So you can't have 2 and 3 and 4 and all that kind of stuff. I might boost this up to 2 if you're like really helping us out and doing other things, but you can come help us test out a lot of stuff as well. Okay. You bump up to Samurai and you get the 1 DCA, 1 ratio, 1 bundle, 3 wallets, and you can have 3 active strategies happening at a time. Super simple, right? The Shogun sort of starts on thing, and then the Shogun, by a lifetime, you get a lot of extra stuff in there. You get some advertising, you get some showtime, you get a whole bunch of stuff. Because here you're doing it for the life of the company, life of Shogun, the life of the relationship. And, it's got a price tag to it. But, I've been through a lot of crap, and I'm still here. So, I'll be here for a lifetime. right? And even if it's not, even if I have to go or something happens, we sell out, we're doing everything, they're going to still honor everything we got there as well. Okay. All right. You can also do yearly as well in the process. And these are not, you can create an account, you can get on board, but these aren't activated just yet into the money side of it. But this is the mentality that I have with it, is that anybody should be able to use it, right? You're going to pay in fees. You're still going to pay in fees in these ones, but what you get from this is a little bit more control, like cloud syncing and knowing the data that's inside this when you trade. It's powerful, super powerful. Okay. Let me jump back in over to the bot, and I want to show you why the wallet structure is very strong as well. So data is always really important, and data comes from the wallet. So you get data over a period of time, and you can kind of see, I didn't have what it started with, and I don't think I can really calculate that in here, but this is the volume generated. So unlike the other bot where you didn't know how much volume you got, here you're going to be able to see it. Now, 3.7 SOL isn't a lot, right? You think about it, what is that? Like $800 in volume, right? $800, something like that, total volume. But that's for the one coin. And that's for trading pennies on the dollar and close to $1, maybe $1.10 now, $1.20 now per trade, right? Because I've increased it slowly as we've gone on. I've increased the amount. I'm looking for the perfect balance. 100% success rate. That means that every single one of the trades that when fired, and it's 430 of them, average per trade 0.003. So it gives you a little everything. 2 strategy running. Super simple. Data sync is coming, right? Because you'll be able to pop this in. You'll be able to go to the website. You'll be able to see the data only. You won't be able to see wallets or any of that other kind of bullshit. You'll only be able to see the data that you procured. Now, if you take this program and you go to another computer, that's going to be a logistical nightmare at times. But later on, you'll be able to do a broadcast up, go to the other computer and do a broadcast down, put your stuff in, your license, because it only works on one unit at a time. You can't get like 15 different ones. I know some are going to try to game it, but we're protecting ourselves here. Okay. All right. But this is irrelevant because it's coming in about a week. We'll have this ready. But wallet and wallet generation is really powerful. Our friends at Turnkey, I met them and I worked with them and I love them. They are so awesome. Turnkey is a wallet generational network. And this is the beauty part about this, is like this wallet is generated right here on my computer. There's no way that you can get this address or come get it unless you come into my house and break it. And let me tell you, I'm not a scary guy, but I can shoot and I can fight. And I got dogs, and I have a wife that can shoot and fight and a son that can shoot and fight. So that's going to be really tough. So you're going to have to brute force attack my computer to come and get me. But even then, that's going to be tough because I have some pretty good software here because I've been attacked a few times. But they know me because they come after me, right? They're not going to come after the average Joe going anywhere. So the protection value is super strong. But why is this important too? Now, I love creature comfort. I love ease of use, right? In anything else, if you would have to go up to your your Phantom wallet, and you'd have to put it onto Chrome, and you have to go get it and blah, 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 right? And then, go over to and import another wallet or trust the DApp. There's no DApp control here, none. You just come in here, you hit generate wallet, it will make you a new wallet. You set your password, and it's your wallet inside the system. You can see I have the main one. This is a generated wallet from the system. This is a generated wallet from the system. And this is a generated wallet from the system. But we also have the opportunity to import a wallet. And what does this mean? Well, this is where the trust comes in a little bit more. Once you're on and you have a little bit more trust, you go to Phantom, you make a new wallet, you put some money in it, and you import it. That way, if anything ever happens, you import the, not the key phrase, okay, but you import the private key. But there's only one place the private key is ever stored, and that's on your computer. This never gets data synced. It never gets upgraded. It never gets pushed to the system. Nothing. The only way anybody could ever get it is, again, break into your fucking house and got yourself. And that's a scary thing to think about. Like when I was asking my security specialist, what is the best way to do it? They have to know your IP, get hold of your Wi-Fi, and get to your LAN or get into your house. And that's all because of our friends over at Turnkey being able to help us make the process and teaching me everything there was about wallet security control on board a device, which was huge. I'm sitting in with them in about a week and a half to go through how do I do that in a DApp and protect the shit out of it. Like all these other big companies that don't have those data breaches. So that day may come, it may not. I may just keep it here for a while. All right. So ease of use, super simple. When I start making money, into that wallet, I can simply just come in and hit withdraw and send it to the wallet that I want the destination go. Super simple, right? Standard fees apply. No extra fees for withdrawal, except for Solana. Super simple. I can also put it down into, I'm getting messages and the Anvil stuff. I can also later on be able to move this around and do that. I can also rename the wallet and know all my wallets and everything else. But I wanted you to just to quickly see that the speed of use, the ratio trade system, everything in here is so powerful. And speaking of powerful, there's my buddy. What's up, man? How you doing, Ghost?
We just hit the lotto. I'm feeling amazing, bro. Nice to be up here as a guest for once, man. It's very familiar when I get back here, you know? It's very familiar.
Yeah. I don't know why. I mean, it's not like you're in it every day.
I got this guy, dude. He's really, really cool, dude. His name's Trader Max. And he was like, listen, man, you know, you're killing it on these spaces daily. Do you want to stream? And I was like, yeah, I don't know, man. And he was like, dude, I'll set you up. It's easy. And I was like, wait, what? Like, you'll do that for me, though? And like, lo and behold, you know, what, 6-7 months later, bro, we're streaming every day because of this champion. I don't know if you know him or not. Last name AF, first name Trader Max.
Last name AF, right?
What's up? I love what you did to me. AF up on that, dude. I'm like, oh, shit, I love this.
Yeah, dude. Listen, you've impressed upon me. You have given me the love and respect, and always have. When I joined the Lotto family, it was, you know, I'm still Shogun, true and blue, right? Because that's going to be that's my jam for the rest of my life. But I had to give you that respects back, because the AF to me means you're just all in. You know, it just shows it. And I've seen all these people changing their name from before, and I'm like, listen, if I'm going to do it, let's do it. I'm going to change my X handle. I'm going to change everything. The only one thing I didn't do was change my Discord name. I may do that here in the game, so I got to go play today, but it is. But when we met, we just hit it off. Your charisma, your passion, your intent has always been real for me. And so for me, it was a no-brainer. Now, we've had our trials and tribulations, ups and downs. But you knew, I went to you the one day when you first said, you know, you should just go trade to make money. And it was true, but I didn't want to give up on all the other dreams, right? And I said to you, listen, I'm going to go learn. And this is what, 9 weeks ago now. I said to you, I'm going to go learn. I'm going to go teach myself. I'm going to go take these lessons. I'm going to go meet some people. I'm going to go do this, and I'm going to build it my fucking self. Do you remember that conversation we had?
100%, bro.
And you gave me that if there's somebody who can do it, you can do it. And I that got me past the doubt. It really was. If it wasn't for you, I would have had the doubt. I would be like, I'm not sure. It might take 12 to 16 weeks. You know, that's my go-to now. A little kick in the face there. But if it wasn't for you and, you know, figuring this stuff out. But then when I came back, I was gone for like, I was sort of aloof for like a couple of weeks, right? With you and everything else was going on. I came back and I built the website. We started building the website, if you remember.
Yeah. Oh, I remember it all.
I was physically at the time learning the code structure as I was building it onto Lotto. So I'm sorry. I used you as guinea piggish, man. But
hey, let me tell you something, bro. I like being the guinea pig. I think there's a lot to it. You know, I'm like, look, this is what I would think would work really cool. You somehow know how to build things. Kudos to you. I never doubted you for that reason and that reason alone. Number one, I know you had other builders, obviously, that were assisting you. You know, we had ideas and you brought them to fruition. And that's not an easy task. You know, I always say everyone has an idea, but who's executing? You know, that's the individuals that I need to, you know, find in order to really make the dreams come true. You know, otherwise they're just ideas. Mm-hmm. And I'm not afraid of failing at all. I embrace it. To me, it's a temporary failure. I've never had a complete failure. So for me, I was looking up to you in a sense to say, look, man, this is what we want, right? This is what kind of ideas we have. We know it's possible. And if anyone could do it, it's you, because, bro, you have this desire to put it together. And I think that's something that people like, you know, they take for granted. I don't ever take that for granted, because I'm like, bro, will there be times where people will try and mimic and build what you're? Yes, bro. That's why I'm always to keep the cards close to my chest, because I'm like,
Yeah.
I want to be the first to have this specific type of thing. That way we can be miles and leaps and bounds ahead of it all, and there's only one way to get there, bro. And that's going to be with you. That's going to be with you executing the specific things that you know how to execute and pushing the envelope on things that you've never tampered with before. And bro, I'm so proud to be a part of this, bro. Like, my goodness gracious, bro, you did it. Like, literally, bro, you did it. The Anvil bot. See, a lot of people don't know it yet, but from a project standpoint, from a healthy chart standpoint, from the momentum, and from the consistency of showing up as a person, you want your chart and your community to also be there. And the Anvil is something that is, for us, was a milestone. Not a milestone, it was a cornerstone. When we first started making our push into greatness from the depths of where. And I watched how it worked. I came up with strategies and ratios, and I'm not even playing, bro. Like, I watched us walk our chart up like a dog. Don't get it twisted, but like, we walked it up like a dog. And that to me was like, okay, we got this now. This is what we were missing. And to see, specific people exit at the time, I wasn't even tripping. I was like, all right, well, hey, dude, we got it to 1 million again and they left. Okay, cool. Got it to 1 million again. Okay, they left. Okay, cool. Got it to 750,000. Okay, they left. Okay, so there's still a few left. I'm waiting. And that was the hardest part. No Anvil and waiting for you to come up with your version of it, which was the original version of how you wanted it anyway. And no longer in Telegram, which I've always been a little bugged out by.
I've always hated it. I
felt weird about it, bro. Not having my own wallet keys in it, and like they're just making it for me. I was like, oh, I don't know about this, right? Being able to import, phenomenal. We had that one call where I was like, dude, is there a way that I can make my own wallet? And you're like, you know what?
Yeah.
It is actually. And sure enough, you made it happen, right? But now I feel really awesome about it because it's user-friendly. I think this is the biggest thing for people out there to know is the user-friendly side of it. Because let's be honest, I'm not tech savvy. I know I should be, and it's probably a foul excuse to use as a young dude to just say you're not tech savvy. I just know that's not my strength. My strength is to talk. I don't want to spend time doing all this extra. Bro, I made the ratio in 60 seconds. I can hit the chart with the ratio of brand new. 60 seconds. Like, that's crazy, bro.
Yeah.
And then to top it all off, how simplistic it is. And it's detached, like you were just mentioning, on my station. It's on my hardware. It's embedded in my computer. And nobody can tamper with that. That makes me also feel secure based on crypto, how it is in general.
Yeah.
This is a game changer. So people that have coins out there that are like, I have no volume and I don't know where to get it from. This is where it is because it's deeper than volume.
Yeah. And see, that's the one thing. Relevance is deeper than volume, because if you don't have relevance to the deck, you don't appear. You're non-existent. If you want your chart to look like every time you make it, if you made a trade once a week, man, your chart would look like that, right? Exactly. So you have to have micro relevance, and sometimes it's just a penny, 2 pennies. How much you spending in fees on that? Like 0.000 of a penny. It doesn't. My system will take the little tiny chunks. That's all I care about, right? Because it needs to run, right? We need to keep the lights on and do all that shit. So everybody's going to pay fees. But the real power for what, like you were saying, is that when you're putting this to your chart, you can control it by the values that you put into it and how you interweave them. It's not just, let me throw $10,000 at the chart and that'll give me volume. No, you'll get exit liquidity, right? Exactly. Because that's what'll happen. People know that it's like entering into a river, or I made this joke not even a joke, it's an analogy of double dutch. Remember, you ever see those kids playing double dutch and they're like this, and you're like, I'm going to get in, right? So it pauses people to see that, hey, there's activity happening, but I got to time myself right. I got to get in. And that's what I think the biggest relevance is in past volume. Lastly, I think ease of use, big one, relevancy to your yourself being able to make the wallets and name them and control them and control the amount. I mean, that's one of my favorite things here when I was able, because one of the big threshold was one, I had to get it to make a trade, right? Like that's never been done before. I was like, okay, I've never done this before. Let me make it. I made that first trade. You should have heard my house. We were all like high-fiving, running downstairs. And, you know, I even told my younger son, I was like, hey, I did it. I got the first trade. He goes, I don't know what that is, but yay. I'm like, you know, but because it's like, it was a detriment to me. Like, how can somebody else have that much control over me? And now they don't.
Yep. It's huge.
And now you know. Yeah. So because you're a part of this network and you're part of this process. So far, and again, what do you think about the negative connotation of people are like, oh, it's botted or there's bots on your chart? What do you think?
I mean, I used to have that same experience, if I'm being honest. I used to have that same experience, but I have yet to come across an actual project that's like ripping and strong. That's not botted.
Yeah.
So I think the evolution of trading and the evolution of your project itself, it is all about action on a chart, you know, and you could look at some of the people out there that I've, you know, learned from or in one way, shape or form invested in to something of theirs. Project wise, and you can see like their action is it's extremely important. Like you said, relevance on a DEX, being able to be found, you know, also the naked eye test when you're a brand new person coming across a coin that you've never heard of that's been around for 11 months and it's got, you know, $313 in the last 24 hours of volume. What exactly are you putting your money towards? You don't feel very confident in that. You go, okay, well, yeah, sure, I can park money in here. And let's face it, it'll probably outperform Sol, because with Sol, I might be able to only get a 2x from these levels over the next 12 months, where this coin would benefit greatly on a 2x push of Sol in the next 12 months, right? Like I look at things like this, like, you know, being a part of this project and seeing the way the price action is, dude, somebody sold 29 cents of Lotto, but because it was the first transaction in 3.5 hours, the chart just like chunked down 60,000 market cap. And I was like, who just sold? I just put it up. I just built this up 50K just now, man. What's going on? And then I look at the chart, I'm like, oh, so we didn't have a buy or sell in so long, and Sol fell off a cliff, $10 drop, that the second one transaction came, it updated everything from demand, supply and demand, and of course, market cap based on the update after that transaction. So you could imagine how much people can be fearful where they're sitting back, right? They get an alert that their coin they just bought went down 5%. They're like, oh man, they just sell it.
Yeah.
They're scared. Well, if you had bots on it, it wouldn't have dropped 5% in a second. It would have little by little moved. And in some cases, with algos and the way they work, supply and demand, and when is it going to run out of supply, how fast, how long will it take, you now create a higher market cap just by that. You know, that's market making at its finest, bro. Yeah. And there's not a coin out there without market making, and they're using bots, bro. So,
the ones that I always have a problem, you know, and again, Fatality, Orbit, those guys that do the bundle that is just fake volume. You know, the ones that have like the fake wallets and it looks like people are doing it, but then it reconciles and like there's no money really going to the chart. You know, it really doesn't move. And some people ask me, you know, well, this doesn't just work on small coins. Does it work on big stuff? And then, we have a beta tester right now, and not even really beta. They're full fucking in right now. Like the fees that are coming from that are just incredible. But you know, I don't want to mention the coin because I don't have permission to give it to him yet, but you're gonna have to trust me. It's a market cap of 4.1 million now. So when they got with us back on the 18th or the 20th, and they had a general drop off of, you know, people were selling, but the way that the bot that he put onto the bot, and he was putting like $100 sales in and stuff, it was triggering it down. It was like up and down, up and down. So it had a small channel trend. Like this looks like an actual fucking real Solana chart or, you know, human element chart, because it controls that value of loss in between. Because if he was just had it would have just shown loss. But instead he had micro buys, he had bigger buys, you know, and then they hit a low of 2.9 million when they boosted it, and they boosted the shit out. I mean, they were doing like 3 Sol buys, you know, at the time. and it went from 2.9 to 4.29 in a
Yeah.
day.
Yeah.
Of course,
I mean, I think that's the
I
difference.
front run it a little bit. I couldn't help it. Right.
I mean, I think that's the difference, right? I think
Yeah.
you got to think about it this way too. Like with the ratio bots, you're helping your chart with volume, but you're also accumulating.
Yeah.
So that's the difference, right? Like 3 days in of utilizing the ratio, we accumulated 3.15 million tokens, which is not nothing to brag home to mom about. But if you did that for a full week, and now you have 10 million tokens that you've pulled off, that's 1% of your supply you shrunk, right? And so if you're decreasing supply by 1% every week, then the game becomes, how do I supply the resources to take 1% of my supply off of the trading block and hold on for dear life? How do I do that? Because essentially it's going to get more expensive each percent you're going after, right? Because there's less supply out there. And so then you have to, find ways to do that, whether you have empty, endless stream of income, or whether you have revenue that you're generating. Like we have a lot of things going, right? We got the merge store. We have now the currency coin. So now there's reflections coming from every time people buy, sell, or transfer a token.
Yeah.
Then we have poker events where people are buying, then they're transferring, then they win, and there's a transfer out. Even if some people sell, that's a possible 2 to 4 transactions off of just playing one poker game. And that's not 2 days a week, now 3 days a week. Then we got our on-chain lotto just finalized, right? So now we're going to have at least 2 to 3 events of those per week. And now you're going to build revenue, and it's not at the cost of others. And it's also not from the cost of your own, right? So bigger lotto, on-chain lotto draws, bigger poker tournaments, more reflections, higher rewards, more resources that you have to put towards lotto, the main squeeze, right? So I think that's the new attempt there. It's like, well, so how do you bring in enough revenue to continuously add to those ratio bots? Because over time, your ratio is more buys than sells, meaning you're taking supply, which means you have no soul left and you have the token left, right? So I think that's the difference when I think of bot. Are you botting it just by buy, sell, and it's just for volume? Are you botting it because you're trying to withdraw your resources and you're hiding that? Well, all of that is inevitable. You're going to see the price go down if you are pulling out more than you're putting in. All of it is inevitable that if you're just putting volume on it, the price is just going to slap between. So I feel like personally, that's the difference. A shark, a good investor, a good trader, they're looking at what it's doing. So they might grab a soul worth, watch it, put their eye on it, see if they're going up or down, maybe average in a few times and accumulate enough if they believe in it. So as far as bots go, all you're doing is systematically doing what I would do, rather than me sitting there and just slapping a soul at it every time we do reflection wallet.
Right.
And it just popping a little bit and popping a little bit and popping a little bit. And then you pop it too fast. And then people are like, oh, finally, I got a 2X. Yeah, I'm the best trader of all time. And then they dip. You're in that rough spot, right? So you have to kind of accumulate slowly and go more aggressive the times soul's going down to stabilize. And then that way you can go a lot less aggressive when soul's going up and you still get that push upward in price, but you're not overpaying for those same tokens. There's a method to the madness. Like for me, I got acquainted with the Anvil bot when it was a Telegram bot. And bro, I'm not even trying to like, I'm a master with numbers, bro. I felt like I was really kicking butt, dude. I was like,
you were doing trigonometry with an abacus, basically back then. So. Yeah, right.
Where I was 3 to 2 every 3 minutes, 3 to 1 every 5 minutes, 2 to 3 on the 10 minutes and 15 minutes, 1 to 2. But with the amounts I was doing it with, bro, that demand was like, oh. And I'm telling you, it's like, again, being able to control the keyboard allows me as a trader of Solana to really put us in a good position, because again, Sol's going down. So the tokens are cheaper. So I want to accumulate more during those runs. When Sol's going up, I don't want to overpay for those tokens just because we have the resources. I would rather slow down on the buys because now you're still going up. And when Sol's going down, you're getting more tokens and you're keeping it from going down. There's so many ways to play it. I think it's the one thing that I've always been like gung-ho about for you, especially because your hard work and your dedication and attention to detail and determination and perseverance in this Web3 space needs to be rewarded. So that way you stick with it, because the sky's the limit with someone like yourself, right? And so when I say if anyone could do it, you can. I mean that from the bottom of my heart because I've seen your work ethic. The truth is, bro, this is the perfect vessel for other. It's like you scratch my back, I scratch your back in a sense, right? Like other communities need this, and in lieu of doing it, you're going to benefit off of that. Small, that doesn't hurt them, but collectively, accumulative, compounding, all of a sudden, you're going to be in a really good spot to do more in Web3, and that's your desire, and that's where your home is. I think, our on-chain lotto that's officially built now, bro. I think that's another game changer in a sense. Where it proves what you're capable of, and it also is a way to keep in community engagement without having to be the talker in your case, for example.
She's like, you can play it. We've all had it happen. My wife came walking in a room in a towel the other night when I was recording a show.
Yeah, I don't know if you caught the audio. It was pretty wild, but
yeah.
You want me to play it?
No, thank you. No, thank you.
No raccoon snip slips over there, please.
Yeah, dude.
This is PG-56.
But yeah, my point is like these two things in particular that I've mentioned that we are, full-blown accomplished on. It's done, it's ready to go. It's launched. It's something that will 100% change the game. It's game changers, right? That's what it comes down to. It's like, how do you disrupt an industry for the positive? These are two elements that help with engagement, and they help with desirability. Your chart has to be desirable, dude. Yeah, that's a fact. As a trader, there's nobody putting money into your chart if the volume is too low. They'll just wait until it picks up and then they'll jump in. They would rather FOMO, which they will, versus accumulate when the activity is low. Yeah.
Well, you and I had a pretty lengthy discussion a while ago about putting money back into the chart and where it goes and why. And, and for me, even though I need the money, and I agreed with everything you said before, I still feel like there has to be some sort of micro charge that goes back. But here's the thing, man. The volume to my chart right now is I put $36 fucking in the goddamn thing. And because with the way that we do it and the way it's hash traded and everything else, it makes a little money and it uses that to pay for fees. And then sometimes, like the other day, it was down $4 from what I originally put it in. And I'm like, okay, no big deal. It doesn't just change. So it is respective to Sol and the movement of the market and organic trading. But then the very next day it was back up again. And I'm like, but it's vibrated over an average of that 12 days or 10 or 5 days that it's been on to cost me no money. And so that's the other thing too. Like when the bigger coin that just did it, he just wrote me a thing here. I can't show it just yet. He goes, this thing's incredible. We haven't run out yet. We're ratio trading in and we're back and forth and we got these big sales and small things. And he goes, and we did 5 wallets. And I was like, okay, you're pushing it now. Don't do any more wallets, but he's like, this is incredible. They got maybe $5,000 running in the process, which is huge, right? That's probably why they went up 2 mil, right? But it just makes sense. What a stress test.
Well, that and Sol too, right? That's why I always tell people, like, unless you're a non-believer in Sol, your favorite meme coins should progress, right? Unless you just don't believe in Sol, because this is the thing when you're doing a ratio, ins and outs, but over time accumulating slowly but surely. Yeah, it should be worth more because the market cap is going up, and then on a day that Sol's up, of course it's worth more. right?
Right.
The truth is depending on your agenda, if your agenda is to disintegrate the supply, then by doing that, you're going to have the cost per all of your tokens worth more. So it's not even just what you put in that helps you, right?
Yeah.
Like I hold a lot of lotto, right? So it's not just I put in, one soul every day into this while we're testing it, and it's accumulating about 1 million tokens. And if I go to the chart and just throw one soul in right now, I'd get around 1 million tokens. It's no difference, but it's the fact that throwing 3 soul in to get 3 million tokens, you're going to get one person that's like, oh, perfect. And they sell their one soul as you just did that. So there's no progress on your chart. It's not healthy. It's not consistent. It's wonky. It's like you said, it's up, down, up, down. This is a game changer because of that as well. Now the rest of my tokens go up in value. Now, forget about me. I can't sell these things. Most importantly, the community sees you're attempting to build your chart. You're attempting to push this project in a good manner. You're attempting, and now they look and it's no longer an attempt. Now they look at their wallet and it's a green day. And that sometimes that's just enough to lift spirits and give momentum for people to keep pushing, because let's face it, dude, bot, no bot, on-chain lotto, no on-chain lotto, poker games, no poker games. It's the community that has to be in a celebratory stage that continuously pumps on social media for others to see, right? You don't get new buyers, bro, or anybody new eyeing the prize unless the community's pumping, right? And if there's nothing to celebrate, you almost can't blame them for being quiet.
Yeah, because
right?
you become cannon fodder. It's ad blindness. It's
humiliating, right? You say something like, "Oh yeah, good chart," and they make fun of you for even talking good about something you believe in. It's like, geez, dude,
right.
What a ruthless, dark spot this is. So
it is.
At one point, bro, I wasn't even mad that a lot of people weren't posting about it. I was like, hey, dude, I get it.
Right.
They need a reason to celebrate. And as much as I have the masterminded plan behind the scenes and I'm just getting it executed and dialing it in, I can't expect people to believe that. Like, show me, bro. Actions speak louder than words. I mean, you do talk a lot, dog, but what are you doing, right? So that's why I'm excited for the Anvil, because it allows me to focus on everything else while it's strategically accumulating tokens to reduce the supply and helping the project, right? Your bot, it's the same as a lotto at this point. It needs to just be seen by specific individuals that run into the same problem, which is the most common problem, no volume.
Right.
But also, forget about a DCA where you're throwing 10 soul in here and you're telling it to only buy 15 times over the course of a week. I mean, 4 hours, right? Because you're pushing it up too quick to where you're unfortunately exit liquidity. Like I'm telling you, it's the saddest thing in the world for me when it's like, dang, dude, I'm exit liquidity. I'm literally putting my hard-earned money into this just so someone else new can clip out. Like, that's so sad, bro. Like,
exactly.
Does everyone not understand that if we hold the line and you let me do my thing, that we could really get some crazy things going? And it's like, they don't care. They don't even listen to you. They don't even know that you're building. They just look at what their wallet is, how much it went up. They need the money for this. They need the money for that. Or there's a new coin that came out that they want to chase that real quick. They'll be back. It's not like it's moving anyway. You can't knock people for being this way. That's why I never have animosity towards them. But if you get more people to understand what this does for what it's worth, it's inevitable that the services will be used. And then that helps not only you, but that helps Lotto. Because when you're generating revenue and you're able to supply resources to specific builds and go out of your realm to build things that you want to build, to even present to others. Not just, oh yeah, you got an idea. Let me take your idea. Let me see if I can make it happen. Okay, cool. Nah, man, I'm talking about this is the beauty of you, bro. There's not been one idea I've came to you with that you just did that. Sometimes I'm like, just do that. But hold on. There's more. I don't need it.
Sorry.
That's round 2,
Oh, I'm so sorry.
No, but this is why I love you, bro. That's the beauty of you. I would never want to hinder or dim that light. That's the beauty of you. That's the creator, right? Like my daughter's a creative artist. If I told her, no, just draw this. No, I just want this. Bro, our AF coin wouldn't look like what it looks like.
Yeah.
Egon came up with this idea. You came up with this idea. I gave it to my daughter, bro, and was like, come back with something cool. I'm thinking of doing this, and this. Next thing you know, I got dollar signs all inside of the AF. And I was like, that's exactly what I liked. You know, it's like, I can't, Baby YOLO, same thing. I gave her the idea of what we wanted for a lotto baller. She made it. And I was like, okay, you know what? Forget what I said. Scratch that. Just do your thing. And now we have lore, background, blah, blah, blah. You know, like, that's the beauty of it. So I don't ever apologize.
Yeah.
Do you. But I know once your services are utilized more, it benefits us because you doing you is what ultimately ends up giving us the ability to take an MVP model and expand it to a whole nother atmosphere without being tight financially, dumping into shit that may or may not work, bro. You know what I mean?
It was the knowledge that prohibited me, not knowing, because, and they had no fear. The people that I was utilizing were just about the money. I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. I'll be very transparent. Most people don't know this, that the Shogun Fusion cost 16 grand to build. And it took a long time to build. It was like 3-4 months, right? Because every time I got to a point, I'm like, where are we at? Well, we're still building, and I don't know, 12 to 16 weeks. I'm like, what the fuck? You know, I know what you're building it with. I know what it's going on, but you know, if you guys just did this, and I got so much pushback, and that was the big thing. Like, a lot of people push back, like, oh no, you don't need to do that. Why would you need to do that? Just do this. Just give me this. Just let it be. You know, don't waste your time on that. That doesn't make any sense. Why would you do that? Like, I asked them for when we asked them originally for the auction. No, we shouldn't do that. I said, just make the auction, please. I just got tired of them telling me no. Like, I wanted them to have like a real traditional, like, OpenSea. I said, copy everything that OpenSea does and just do that right now, because that's what I need. And then we'll build the Fusion on top of it. And then I'm talking about the Fusion. That's too hard. That's really hard. Why would you even do that? You, on the other hand, are like, go, do whatever you do. I like it. So
100%.
It is that feedback that it is. The ideas and stuff that we got coming, my man, as you know, like you said, you know, I am constricted by money as well, because I own a dojo, I have a house, and I'm a big guy and I got to eat. Right. So, and I don't have, this is my gig, man. This is it.
Right.
This is where I'm at about 8 hours a day. And then I go to the school for about 4. That's 12 hours a fucking day. I'm up to 4 o'clock in the morning. This is me, man. But it's worth it. It's worth it because if I make what I got this going, and we already have, we already got through that threshold. There is no turning back now. You know that, right? This is no longer a hot dog cart. So, but building like the things like when you come to me and say, build this is something, and I won't take too much of your time. We'll probably call the show here soon so you and I can get our other stuff done. But I wanted to give you kudos, and I'm going to expose this a little bit today, okay? And I do apologize. Yesterday, I was saying in the early part of the show that sometimes you just need to have a good conversation with yourself and be adult enough to have other good conversations with people, even if it's going to be tough, right? You physically had to call me last night to make sure that I wasn't upset on something. And why this was so important is that, yeah, sometimes I can get a little bit prima donna-ish, right? Because I'm old and I'm tired and I don't want to get fucked over no more, right? But you and I had a conversation about a month or so
rightfully so, mind you.
Yeah, right. And I do. I deserve to feel that way if I feel that way. But you told me I'm not going to be that person ever. And I said, okay.
I refuse.
I'm gonna trust you on that. And so I could still get a little cranky because there's still a lot of shit going on in my world that a lot of people don't know about. But yesterday was one of them. We had a little thing, and then you were in a fucking show, by the way. You were in a show, and the importance of your people is very important. Like I see myself as a partner with you, not just a person, but in what we've built. You had the audacity to leave your show. Like, first off, like I got to go handle this, and you just did. Like me, I would have been like, they're gonna have to wait for a moment because I got to finish this. But you said I'm gonna go do that, and I got a call, and I was like, what's going on? You're in a show, everything all right? I thought there was I didn't know you were calling for me. I just thought there was something wrong, and I panicked for a minute, and so we worked it out. But that's the thing. You sometimes have to have a conversation, even if it's going to yield you bad news. You just got to do it. I know the Anvil is going to be tough and scary. I know Shogun Fusion is going to be tough and scary. The turnover for that, it's not going away. But right now, I'm battling. I had to have a tough conversation with them. Like, you guys got to stop You got to stop fucking around. Give me the codes. Give me everything you got, because if not, I'm going to come after you. And that doesn't look good either. I don't like to be threatening. And they're finally going to start giving it to me after this weekend. But I just got to do it. And I got to take it on. I got to take it on like I took Anvil on. I got to get to a threshold. And it either needs to become or change, right? We become to the next level. We push past our bounds, or we pull away from it.
Well, that's the pivot, right? I think in this day and age, bro, communication is so important in relationships and business and love and friendships. It's the most important thing in the world. So doing a show and then pausing the show or letting them take over the show real quick while I make these phone calls to the individuals that I need on the same page at all times, that trumps it all, because there's nothing worse than working and either feeling underappreciated, feeling undervalued, feeling unheard, feeling like you did something for no reason. These are all real. Like, bro, you listen, man. I'm as genuine as they come, but I'm not a pushover. And so I know that if I feel some type of way, I'm gonna talk about it so that individual understands where I'm coming from. That's all I care about is like, look, dude, I'm not mad at you. I'm not mad at him. I'm not mad at her. But I need you to understand this, or this is how I feel, or I'm angry because of this. I can't hoard that information because it never ends right. It always gets worse. And you compound issues that you experience in life, you compound stuff, and then all of a sudden it fizzles out and what you had working no longer works. And no one really looks back at that and goes, how could I have altered some of those feelings? How could I have been there for some of those feelings? Or what could I have said differently to not be offensive or harsh, right? Like those are things that I've always tried to master when it comes to communicating, because I've seen it firsthand. Communicating the right way, people are receptive when they're not attacked. People are receptive when there's not an audience. People are receptive when they can tell you it's for a better good. So you just have to kind of figure out how to make people receptive in a sense, because it's for the better good. Like knowing where you were coming from, I knew instantly, well, yeah, of course. I would understand why, you know, so let's talk. Like, let's, you know what I mean? Let's clear the air, dude. Like, first off,
we ain't got time.
Right. Like there's no reason to dwell on it. Right.
No, most definitely.
Understandable. Let's fix it. But also moving forward, let's get on that same page. So we never have to worry about there's like, here's what happens a lot of times in life, right? Like someone does something and the agenda behind it is what is in question, right? It's like, but why did they do that?
Yeah.
Right? Was it to undercut me? Was it to bypass me? Was it to shun me? Was it to discredit me? Was it to look better, right? These are the negative connotations on it. But a lot of times, it's really pure intent. They just didn't think about how you or how I would have felt or how they would have felt, right? Most of the time when you break it down, that's what it comes down to. So for me, it's like, hey, let's talk about it. Now I have a better idea of knowing what the intent was. If I still feel like the intent is negative and you just don't care, well, then I now know not to waste any time emotionally with that individual. And it is what it is. I don't have any expectations. Take it for what it's worth. No problem. Yeah. But if it was a misunderstanding, well, then now you can continue doing what you do best, and that's working together. It's impossible to do something on your own. Yeah. You can't do Anvil on your own. You need someone to test it. I can't build an Anvil on my own. I don't know what the heck that even looks like back behind the scenes. Like you need somebody, right? You do. You really do. And the goal is to not need them, but desire them. That's the big difference. I desire working alongside of you because you've pulled off things that were in my brain and made them come to fruition, right? So I now desire that relationship with you. There's a trust factor. I know you'll never, ever do me wrong purposefully, right? So now it's not I need you, it's I want you, dude. You know what I mean? Like that's who you want to work with, right? No homo. No homo, right? Like that's what you want though. In business, I've realized that. Like, when you desire more money, then guess what? You now make decisions in business, dude. I'll make this brief because I know we all got things to do. Yeah, bro. I've been with my business partners for 17 years. I started off as a rep. I was like an employee, W-2, jumping on the phones at a call center. Started off as a rep. Watched these people run the show. Couldn't believe that they were running a show. Didn't judge them. Was just like, I could do that better even, right? And eventually you move up. And now, not just like GM and regional manager, and then the president, now business partner, like 33 splits. Like this is a real partnership off of profit share. And it's like, oh my God, like I did it. I moved my way up. And then we hit brick walls all the time. There's these dead ends that they feel like, not personnel wise, but industry wide. And we're trying to get around these things, right? Then it becomes, for the first time ever, because it's a pandemic, and that's kind of what we evolved into, just being remote now. Instead of the banter back and forth in the office between us three, instead of the ball busting and the relationship building and the communication 24/7, because we're in the same atmosphere, we're in the same facility, that was gone since 2020. Now there's a separation there. There is less, how you doing? How's life? Hearing funny stories about their kids, hearing funny stories about my kids. There's no camaraderie. And then when there's no camaraderie, what happened is you hit these brick walls, and these same brick walls that we would get past, we had a brick wall, bro. And then there was like accusing almost. You're not doing your part, or you're not doing your part, or this is your part of the job, and you got to do the. And now there's animosity. Bro, I was this close to perhaps moving on from them with somebody completely different that I trust unequivocally, working with them for 7 years, maybe 8 years, now 7 years. Yeah, since 2018. So I literally almost took that leap of faith to leave everything I knew. And guess what? It would have been way more money, because now I don't have to push 66% of my profits over here.
Right.
And I was like, damn, this is almost a no-brainer at this point. If they're going to treat me this way or make me feel less than, this is where I'm going, right? This close, bro. And to the point where I got everything in order. And then we had one more sit down. And during that sit down, I looked across the tables and I'm like, I don't want to break this. 17 years. And it's not because of fear or no, it's because I desire. Look, one of you've never let me down with your part of this gig. The other one, you've never let me down with this part of the gig. There's an unknown with this side. More money, sure. But what happens if it fails? How much more money am I going to get? And how long is that going to last for before it fails? Or we hit a brick wall and I'm the newest one in that realm for what, right? What happens if that happens?
Yeah.
I have to go back? Well, what relationship is there at that point? So the craziest thing in the world was actually understanding you want to work with the people that you feel comfortable and confident in, that they can get things done in a timely manner, but also done the right way, and head on a swivel to always be evolving with whatever the game is you're in.
Yeah.
And bro, I changed my mind last minute. I stuck with my team, and maybe 7-8 weeks later, they went down.
Yeah.
Not down like they're out of it. No, but they hit a brick wall.
Yeah.
And they were out of business for almost 10 days straight.
Wow.
And all I could say was, wow, if that's not proof that I made the right decision, oh my God. And it was all discernment. The Holy Spirit, bro. I swear to you, I was like, I felt uncomfortable going that route.
Yeah.
I had to take the leap of faith to understand that these individuals have my best interest, and they're getter-doners in the realm of where it makes sense, right? And in that moment, I realized what the benefit was. I know they'll never screw me over purposefully, right? Because anything can happen, right? But I know they'll never do it on purpose. I know they'll never steal from me or take from me or lie to me or punish me in a sense, right? They'll never do me wrong. And that right there is worth taking home less money. Because in the long haul, it's more money. And I feel that way with builders. In this space, bro, there's so many things that you can do to harm somebody. so many things building wise with Anvil that you could do to harm me if I didn't know you and trust you. I would have to be scared of this. Why?
Hmm.
That's why I would rather work with someone I trust.
Yeah.
I want to. It's a desirability now. So yeah, bro, if I feel like you're not feeling your sharpest, then the quality of what you're even building is going to fall.
It's good. It's going to falter, right? Yeah.
Feeling comfortable, confident, cozy, wholesome the entire time. Not on no fraud shit, but like just as a genuine person to person, you give your best when you receive your best. The law of giving and receiving. If you're in a good headspace, you are unstoppable. That's with anybody and anything you're doing. How good are you performing when you're in a bad headspace? Nobody can perform like they would perform when they're feeling shitty. So
well, I've been in this industry enough, and I tell my students at the dojo, sometimes the best way to see what you're cut from is to do something when you don't feel so good. Like you don't want to do it and you just do it. And, you know, you come to class, you feel sick or you feel hurt. Now, if you've got the fucking flu, stay the fuck away. I don't want to get sick, right? But if you don't feel good, like you had a bad day, that's the best day to go practice martial arts because you get to learn what it is like if somebody attacks you. You know, the world's never going to come to you and be like, hey, buddy, how you feeling today?
Ready?
You feel good? Because I'm about to fuck your shit up. Are you ready? No, you're not going to be ready. Right? You got to wake up with fucking gunk in your eye and something leaking out your ear and a hair that you don't even know where that fucking came from. You know, your whole world's going to be shit. Right.
Yeah.
And that's when life is going to test you. That's when God's like, hey, I think you're going to do something today. You know,
yes.
You know, he's pushing that Alt F4 key on your fucking ass. Right.
Hey, that's the perseverance though. Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Got to persevere.
It doesn't have to be a flood. It doesn't have to be some giant burning bush for you to get the threshold mentality. Right. God works in mysterious ways, as they say. In this world that I've been dealing with you for some time now, since the beginning of the year, you know, I've seen you around before then, but our world is you are a natural brother to me, and I really do appreciate you, who you are, and you being here on the show today. I know that, you know, we got a lot of stuff to kind of cover and get into. And before I want to wrap up here, I want to give you just a couple minutes here, just to kind of throw any words that you have for people that are watching right now about the Anvil. And you know, this is a no brainer, and this is not a sales gimmick, guys. This is real shit, right? There's like, you know me, I build and I do beta and I do MVP and I listen. I'm intuitive. You know, you guys, if you see something wrong, you say it and then I show it and I build it. You know, I don't really take it too personal. Sometimes it's hard when shit breaks. But what can you tell somebody who's new and they're starting out with something new like this? What can you give them to kind of put it at ease for them?
All I can say is realistically speaking, like if you have a project, right, and your chart is dead and you have no volume, bro, you need to do something about it, or the holders get restless and they just don't feel confident that you have the ability to even man or run the coin, woman or man the coin, right? So what you want is something that is authentic. You want a way to accumulate tokens without breaking the piggy bank, because you'll run out of funds way quicker than that supply gets reduced if you're not careful. And so what you want is something that is high quality. You want something user friendly, because let's be honest with one another, trying to learn something new is not the easiest when you're stressed. And I know that running a project is stressful at times. So it's one of those things that all I can say is this. Obviously, I don't get paid a dime, whether you use it or not. I can genuinely care less. I could care less. I swear to you. But if you have your own project, with volume, without volume, at one point you're going to have no volume. So you should take the leap of faith to at least tamper with it, get accustomed to it. Because in this day and age, if you don't know how to utilize something like this, which I don't know if there's anything really like it, but something like this, you're going to be in trouble when you continuously are putting resources into something just for people to leave. Like, you might as well just Venmo. And so this is a way, dude, to really take control of, you know, the price action almost, right? It's a way to give you power into your particular project so that you can kind of control it. So when someone clips out, you can turn it on so you're buying back. If somebody does a big buy, you can slow it down or pause it so that you don't run up the percentage too quick to where it's too enticing for someone that just jumped in and got a 2x or a 3x to get out. You should really try it. And I'll say this from a user standpoint of someone who is, I came in the industry oblivious to, hacks and the security. I came in oblivious. However, I got blessed day one. Someone named Rudy who told me specifically what not to do.
Yeah.
Don't connect your wallet. Don't do this unless you know it is a trust. Do not do that. Disconnect it after you connect it. Don't give your seed phrase out. Write it down. Like, I'm talking about like boot camp, bro. Like a 30-minute call of boot camp of like, what is the do's and don'ts, bro? And I took notes. And I've been fortunate to never have been, taken from, in a sense, in this industry, personally. And there's a big, not just trust factor, but there's a big thing that are no-nos in this game.
Yeah.
Anvil bot 100% covers that for you, where you're not at someone else's hand. Like, right. You're not compromising yourself, right? Like, I started a brand new wallet from Anvil, right? In regards to putting it in Anvil. And now the most I can get tampered with is on that wallet. And the way his security features are, it's set up in a manner to where I have no fear. Like he said, right? You got to jump onto my IP address, my hijack through my Wi-Fi, or come to my actual location to really move those funds. Right. And that is a very important thing when it comes to your resources. Moving crypto on the blockchain is easy, but there's things you need to move it in general. And that's what I will say, is that with the Anvil bot, no longer do you have to worry about somebody moving your things. It's yours, right? It's yours. You can withdraw it, put it on another wallet to be on the safest of safest sides after you've already accumulated some tokens. You can only put in what you're looking to put in. So that way, if God forbid anything ever were to happen, that's even out of our hands as far as Anvil goes, and it's just something happens, like, okay, that's all that you can ever be tampered with. So when you talk about security, the safety of it all, when you talk about the user friendly, I'm telling you right now, I can build a ratio in less than 60 seconds. That's on I see the buy come on the chart. From the time I go to build and the time I hit start, there's a buy on the chart. 60 seconds less.
Yeah. I've
never seen anything faster, with such an easy way, user-friendly display of pause, stop, delete.
Yeah.
It's like an iPad in a sense, right? It's almost like an iPad. You just know where to touch. You're just like, it's self-explanatory, right? So for those of you that are novice, understand how self-explanatory it really is. It's literally 3-4 buttons in and pause, stop, delete, start.
Yeah.
So if you got a project out there, tap in with him, let him break down to you the basics, and start getting acclimated with it. It's important.
Yeah, anybody who signs up over the next 24 to 48 hours, you come in. You don't have to buy a package. Don't buy a package. I don't want you to buy a package. Okay, this is all just for future stuff when we have bigger accounts and bigger things happening in there. Anybody who's coming today, you're just going to get the DCA system, and if you help us test, I'll jailbreak one of the other packages for you so you can use it for a higher level if you need. But just to start out, the free package will run it for you. Like, you'll get a ratio trade. You don't have to do 14 cross hatches and all that kind of shit, right? I'm just going to give that to you, and that's on me. That's on me because Ghost and everybody else. So if you're a trader and you just want a DCA system that you trust and it goes to communities that will build more and safer things, then use the DCA. Stop using Radium's bullshit one. It's so low in the fees anyway. It's 0.5%. It's not even anything close to what's out there. So I think where this is really gone, and I really do appreciate you being here today, Ghost, is a final thing for me. Is you touched on something that you said to me, when I'm happy, there's a lot of things that are built. No truer words have ever been spoke. Like when I see my path, I'm still hurting. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that I'm battling. I'm kind of playing with all these games and everything. But that day that I made the first one and I was able to that's my flux capacitor moment, man. I created an algorithm called C plus V equals G, consistency plus volume equals goal. When I see the consistency, I can add volume. I can get to any goal I put my mind to. And I found the consistency and I found the value. So I'm putting the volume in now. And that's where getting back into the show. That's why getting you here. That's why building these other things gets more eyes. It's all together.
Cumulative.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so as you know, we have a lot of stuff to still build and still build. I want to, if you stick around here for a minute, I need to go get a drink, but for everybody else, I want to thank you for being here. Thanks for the Lotto Fan Bam coming in here. You just supplied us 149 of you fuckers here. I really do appreciate you. And I just love everybody that's here helping promote it and push it and do everything. I'm Trader Max. This has been the Shogun Forge with the Anvil Volume Solutions page. I'll show it one more time here. You'll find it if you find it. If you know me, you sign to see. I took a little piece out of Ghost's book. The name up here, as you can kind of see on the screen, is at Trader Max _AF. That's my name on X as well. You find me there. PM me, DN me, AM me, whatever you want to do. Get me over there, and I will send you the login details if you need, or just go there, log in, download it. I'll walk you through it. Be very careful if you are downloading and using it. You still fuck it up. You got to be very careful. But, start using it. If you already had the Anvil bot and you know it, it's very intuitive. You'll figure that shit out. I promise you. All right. But everybody else, thank you so much for being here. Be careful out there. Watch your back. Do your own research. Figure your shit out. But as always, trade well. I'll see you next time.